on this week's Most Craved for the Horde!
Baladash Malanore.
Hey guys, welcome to Most Craved. I'm Jenna Bush with Legion of Leia.
And I'm William Bibiani with Crave Online, and we are going to be talking about some video game stuff today. We're going to be talking about Warcraft and also some of the highlights that we've seen coming out of E3. But let's start with Warcraft. Warcraft, one of the more ambitious video game movies ever. Very expensive. Obviously trying to lay down groundwork for a franchise. Came out to, at best, mixed reviews, some real hard slams. Didn't do great in America, doing amazing in China.
Amazing. And I actually loved it. I had a blast. And I can recognize what the problems are.
Yeah.
But it's one of those movies where, and this is coming from a player, so I think that's a big part of it. Like, I all the stuff that I saw was so amazing because it was something that I played for years and years and years. So, but it did do really well in China. It did so well in China that people are talking about a sequel, which I would actually love to see.
Yeah, and that's something that we really haven't had much of. There have been a lot of movies that didn't do great in theaters, then did great on home video and ended up getting sequels, films like Terminator and Austin Powers. And there have been films that have done okay in America, but then done great overseas, like Pacific Rim, which has a sequel on the horizon. But this would be, assuming it goes that far, we still need to see if it has legs.
Right.
This would be the first movie to flop domestically. And then become a huge franchise overseas.
Well, China's a huge market now, and that's, the game is really popular over there as well.
Don't they have an unofficial theme park in China?
I think so. I think
is that hearsay? I don't know. Maybe it's all vicious.
If there is, I'd like to go.
That'd be awesome. But no, I saw it too. I've only played the game a little bit, but I liked it. It's trying to be Lord of the Rings. It's trying to be huge and epic, and it doesn't have it, and I think it's because it plays a little too much like stuff we've seen before. It's a lot of archetypes, and it's also plays kind of short. Like, they cut out a lot of the character development, and a lot of it's just plot.
And I think they cut out 40 minutes, which I'd actually like to see, because it's something like, say, Watchmen, which I didn't love. Please don't hate me. I've already heard about it. But I didn't love it, but the director's cut, which had all this extra stuff put in, I actually really liked a lot.
And that's true for a lot of director's cuts. Just because it's longer doesn't mean it doesn't play faster. I will put the director's cut the extended cut of Two Towers up against the theatrical cut. It plays so much better.
Oh, yeah.
In every way.
Yeah, and I think when you're doing something where you have to introduce so many people to so much lore, there's a lot of exposition, which I didn't mind. It wasn't confusing for me because I know all these characters, I know all these people, But I wouldn't be surprised if they do a sequel.
Why do you think, because you and I both liked it. We didn't love it, but you loved it. You said you loved it.
I really enjoyed it. There's some stuff, I definitely know that there are problems, but I loved most of it.
Yeah, I like it the way I like Willow, which is to say quite a lot, but I don't think it's an all-time classic.
Right, exactly.
Why do you think so many people didn't run out to see it, didn't think it was going to be a big deal, and why do you think so many of the critics weren't on the wavelength? Granted, sometimes they're right, but sometimes they're wrong.
The human side of everything wasn't really as well developed as the Horde side, which, in the game, really, people love the Horde generally more than the Alliance, and I've played both sides, so, I think that because it's trying to be Lord of the Rings in a way, and I don't think they actually went out to do that, but it is in that genre, but it's based on a video game. It's brightly colored. There's stuff that's silly, and that's the stuff that players enjoy. I think that a lot of people were, looking at the CGI going, oh, there may be too much CGI. Oh, orcs. I don't know. Orcs are this. They're not. Yeah, orcs are very different.
Some people are complaining that the orcs look this way, and I'm like,
great.
They look awesome. They actually get really good performances out of it too. I thought it was really, really cool. So listen, if you've been avoiding Warcraft and you see it, it's actually pretty good. If you're avoiding word of the mouth, we're changing the word of mouth right here, right now.
And I just got my beta key for the expansion, so
and she just got her beta key for the expansion, so she's very excited. What did you see coming out of E3?
All right, well, first,
that's exciting you.
First, the new Xbox consoles, Xbox S and Project Scorpio. The S is going to have, obviously both will have much higher frame rates and the ability to do video, and the S is tiny, it's little, it's cute.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But Project Scorpio is so much more of an upgrade. And it's coming
yeah.
out right on the heels of the S.
Right.
There's the question that remains. Is this like a 32X kind of thing where it's like, why would you get this with the Saturn on the horizon?
No, you know what I think? I think in a way it's sort of like iPhones in that you can choose this size or the bigger size or even the biggest size. Like, because one of the things that they announced is that the games will all be compatible with all 3 systems. So I'm imagining Scorpio is going to be more expensive than the S. And, you know, part of the reason, like, I've had every console pretty much in history. I even played the Jaguar, you guys, Jaguar, if you even know what that is. But you know, I'm like midnight launch kind of person. But the only thing I didn't get was the PS4. Not because I didn't want to. Part of it was because I have a 3D TV and it wasn't compatible at the time. But then it became a price thing.
Yeah.
So I imagine, you know, less expensive, more expensive. You're going to sell more consoles that way, especially if you've got your games across all of them. But the Scorpio, it's going to have 6 teraflops. 6 teraflops. That's like the best word ever. That's like a little tiny globe with like skinny arms and legs that runs and kind of trips over stuff and goes, what? Come on, it makes me happy. I like it. But that's like, we're talking like spaceship kind of memory. And,
oh no, it's ridiculous.
Processing
that's the sort of thing
here.
that would used to cost like so much money. There wasn't like an inconceivable thing on a consumer level.
Right, right.
So the idea that's even there on a consumer level, that's pretty cool. I'm not sure what I'm going to use all that for, but there you go.
They'll use it to make the games. It'll be awesome.
Okay.
Speaking of games,
yes,
there's a Spider-Man game which looks incredible.
Does it? Because it's all video. Like, here's my thing with the Spider-Man games. The best Spider-Man game ever is still Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Because it was really all about the web swinging. It was
Right.
all about momentum and speed and
Right.
tricks. It really was a unique video game experience. And the rest of them kind of focused on plot and different
like
costumes
plot.
and stuff. And it's fine. I don't know. They just all started to feel kind of samey after a
Yeah.
while. And what I really want from a Spider-Man game is to go back to that. I am not sold on the new costume, though. I'm not sure what the heck that is.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. But
All
but then there's also like God of War, the new God of War, which is focusing on Norse mythology.
Great way to expand that franchise
love
because
God
Kratos
of
got
War.
so old.
And it's so cool. And I love what this particular game franchise does with their giant enemies. Like, that's so huge to me.
I had to write things down.
Oh, there's We Happy Few, which is the weirdest, most twisted thing where like they retcon history and it's set in the 60s and they all wear happy masks and take joy pills. It's weird.
I am
love
excited.
it.
I was a bigger fan of Quantic Dream's output than I think than most people. I
Yeah.
thought Heavy Rain was actually kind of brilliant. And they've got a new game called Detroit Become Human. Weird title, but the trailer looks so interesting.
Yeah, it really does.
It really does seem like that sort of branching narrative promise that they made in the first place.
Yeah.
Done writ large. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, and then there's For Honor, which is really cool. I'm not a big gun game person. Like, I can't play first person shooters because they make me nauseous, but I love swords and that kind of thing. So the For Honor is a whole bunch of different groups. Like, there's like knights, like European knights. There's Japanese samurai. There's whole bunches. There's Vikings, I think, and they all sort of clash together.
Yeah.
And like, it makes no sense, and I don't care because it looks so freaking good.
I'm very, very excited about the return of Prey.
Yeah.
Prey is one of the more underrated games of the last console generation. It was
Yeah.
really inventive, really unusual. There was nothing quite like it. And then they promised a sequel. It never happened. And now there's a trailer for a new one. It doesn't seem to have a hell of a lot to do with the original Prey.
Right.
I just hope they keep that same level of cleverness and unusual gameplay techniques.
Yes,
So,
and then there's a Destiny expansion. I can't play Destiny because first-person shooter, but it's so cool. God damn it, I just want to play it.
what are you looking forward to at E3? You let us know here on the internets. We have a Twitter. You could tweet us. You could also just talk to us in other modalities as well. We will be back next week with more Most Craved.
For the Horde.
For the Horde.